Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports with Dunga. Well, it almost seems that Chelsea has forgotten how to win games, or Chelsea has basically after the transfer window that they've had, like everyone's just talking about the amount of money that they've spent, but I don't want to get into that. Of course, there is a separate video that I might do about that sooner or later. But then it's not happening. It's not because Chelsea has spent a lot. We've seen a lot of clubs spending a lot of money, but then they've had results. It almost seems to me that Chelsea right now with Graham Potter and the time that they've had under him, and of course, Todd Bowley pushing the team to get new players, it's just taking a lot of time for them to kind of settle in, and that's fine. It, it's almost a new squad, right? Because they've had almost two windows. Because in summer of the last year, they had a lot of players coming in. January has been pretty busy for them as well. Mudryk, Joao Felix, Madueke, Enzo Fernandez, Badiashile, and Marco Correa. So these are the new players in the last less than a year that Chelsea have already kind of signed up and are playing now for them regularly. Instead of the Mounts, the Sterlings, the Kovacits, and of course Aubameyangs. I don't know what's happening with him, but then this was I have a feeling that Chelsea are on the brink of something exciting, but then it can go either way. Of course, when you look at where they are in the current Premier League, the ninth. They had a very good chance today or the game with West Ham United where they played, to kind of go up and get some cushion between them and Liverpool. But then it almost felt like it was difficult for them to kind of come back. Reviewing the match reaction here, giving a match reaction here, to me, it feels very important that we talk about Chelsea for a minute. But then going to the game, I think Joao Felix and Enzo Fernandez have a connection from somewhere. I don't know when and how that established, but they have a beautiful connection there. Graham Potter decided to make 3 changes after the Fulham game, with a goalless draw against Fulham that went. Madueke came for his first start. Loftus-Cheek also came in, and Joao Felix came back after his horrendous debut to Premier League, where he received a red card after serving his 3-man ban, a suspension for a red card. There were some GT people who were on the bench. Of course, Ziyech, we all know that wanted to leave Chelsea for PSG, but then because of the last minute not signing the papers on time, that deal didn't happen, and Ziyech still starting is a big positive for Ziyech and Chelsea. Ziyech, Mount, and Gallagher were dropped onto the bench. The David Moyes kept the same squad. I think Danny Ings was the only one that he was on the bench. I was expecting him to start because it's more kind of direct that he was a striker. But then West Ham did start with Mikel Antonio, Benrahma, and Bowen. West Ham almost feels fatigued to me sometimes, like the way they're playing. It almost feels like they want a breather first, and then they want to kind of go into and try to do something. Like Antonio is not as potent he was before. And also the fact that they've not been able to kind of West Ham has not been able to kind of bounce or kind of get some momentum. That's why they're 16th right now. Of course, David Moyes is a brilliant manager. He did an amazing job last season, kind of almost pushing the top 6. But the games came thick and fast. There was too many championships to kind of play with, and that's what happens in, when your team is new and when you get to Europe. They're playing, I think, Conference League, and then they're trying to kind of win all games that they've had. And when you don't have the squad depth that you require and you're playing same players over and over, it just becomes very hard for them to kind of push a little more. And that's what I feel is happening with Chelsea as well. And that's, but then Chelsea were reinvigorated by a lot of money flowing into the team. But West Ham United in the last 5 games have won only 1 game, and they've lost 1 and drawn the rest 3. Chelsea, on the other hand, have only, again, the same. They won 3. They won 1, lost 1, and drawn 3 games. They sit right now in 9th position with 31 points, with Liverpool and 2 games, with Liverpool having an advantage of playing 2 games more, 2 games less than Chelsea on 29 points. Aston Villa has played 1 game less. It's good that Aston Villa, I think Aston Villa lost their game as well. So 9th is not good for Chelsea and the team that they've built. But I guess you just need to give more time to the squad to kind of come up to some strengths. That's the reason I say, like, has Chelsea forgotten how to win games? Chelsea of the past would have just buried the game in the first half completely after Joao Felix scores a goal. But then it almost felt that Chelsea wanted West Ham to come back, or West Ham didn't want it that bad. But then West Ham do come back after we can talk about, like, after Emerson kind of scores, like marking and defending and stuff. But they come back in the first half, and then it's a very kind of open, cagey game. And the last of it almost felt like Soucek had scored, but then he was offside. But that was kind of that's kind of the game. But then Chelsea had a really nice. Chelsea had missed this chance to kind of move up to the table, and but then they still stay 9th. They're now unbeaten in 4, as they've. And now the main thing is Champions League. They now have a trip to Champions League, where they play Borussia Dortmund. West Ham are finally now in are up to 2 places up to 15 after. And they travel to Tottenham in the coming weekend. So that's going to be very interesting. Like, both very important games for both teams. And then it also feels that that there is a growing frustration among Chelsea fans. I would like Chelsea fans to comment on what do you think is happening right now? Is this that you want to give the whole season to Graham Potter with the squad, and then otherwise, there are other beautiful, amazing coaches available right now as well on the market? Do you then go back and get somebody from there, or do you stick out with Graham Potter for the rest of this season? Interesting to know your thoughts. I feel that Graham Potter needs to be given more time. Chelsea is a big club. He's not minus that before. It's a good experience for him. He should be given more time on leeway. It's not a Chelsea is like in relegation right now. It's a season that's of a rebuild. You will have a summer as well. I'm hoping that it'll be more structured. It'll be like the teams will have good time to kind of gel together in the preseason training. Graham Potter coming in to be helping Chelsea to kind of to new heights and better games. Let me know in the comment section below. West Ham United 15. I don't think they're falling to relegation. Dave Moyes still needs to come back with some more good, impressive performances. Of course, playing Spurs after Spurs lost to Leicester 4-1 is not a good time to play Spurs. They generally have a comeback. But then it'll be interesting to watch that game as well. Let me know in your comment section below. What do you think of the game, and how do you think Chelsea and West Ham United season has gone so far? Do you think Chelsea can actually make it to top 5 at least? Or will they end their season in the unknown of between 7th to 10th spots? And West Ham United, can they come back? Can they come up to the the top of the second group in the Premier League, which is from 10 to 20? Can they finish between 10 as the 10th or the 11th or 12th in this season? Let me know in the comment section below. Looking forward to talking to you more. Have a nice one.